All right. Happy Thursday evening. I want to say welcome to Andrea Speaks TV. I am your host, Andrea, here to bring you commentary you can use. So I want to say thank you all so much for joining me on this Thursday night. I hope that you and your family are doing well. Thank you. Thank you. This is my first night of my Thursday lives. I recently announced for those who subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. That way you can join our community right here. But I just recently, just yesterday, I made the announcement and I was saying that every Thursday, okay, my goal is for every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. I plan on going live, okay? So tonight is the first night of my Thursday night lives. We'll see how it goes. There may be some times where I have to change the date and time. I will communicate that with you right here on the channel, as well as on my Instagram page. For those who are on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. Okay, again, my Instagram page is at Andrea Speaks TV. So I want to welcome you all tonight. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Thursday to tune in and get the information, share the information. I know there may be some of you who, for whatever reason, you were not able to watch the live stream. So thank you for coming back and watching the replay. I would like to ask you that as you watch the video, as you get the information, I always like to hear your thoughts and your comments and your feedback. So please make sure that you leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Give me some feedback on, the channel, the information, the videos. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Okay. Those of you who have been supporting me for quite some time now, you know that we have been talking about many things right here on the channel. Right. We've been talking about food shortages. I'm still, based on my research, I'm still seeing and hearing reports of food shortages. As a matter of fact, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit on tonight's broadcast, but do you all realize that less food is being produced this year? First of all, do you all believe that? There are reports that there are less food. There is less food that is being produced. Maybe you have seen in the news where they've talked about the cattle farmers or cattle ranchers having to sell their cattle due to extreme droughts. Were you all aware of that? There are even reports now that farmers are having to destroy their crops, because of the climate, the weather. The drought is making it difficult to produce crops. You all know that right here on the channel, I covered um, the fact that fertilizer shortages were going on, and for the fertilizer that is available, you all know, of course, with supply and demand, you all know that the prices are going to be much more expensive due to increased demand and low supply. So our farmers, I want to give a shout out to our farmers, the people, the people and their families that work hard to feed our country and the world. They're really going through many challenges right now, as many of us are. But when you think about farmers, not only are they producing food that we eat, but this is also a way of life for them. This is a way of living. And so, you know, and I'll be covering this more too in upcoming episodes, but many farmers are feeling, ignored, um, and overlooked as far as, okay, getting assistance, helping them to save their crops so that they can still produce food. But I want you all to think about that. I don't know if anyone has shared that information with you. I don't know if you have thought about it, but based on reports, less food is being produced this growing season. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I read a report that said when it comes to the farming and harvest, it's almost as if we're a year behind. So, for example, the harvest that we see now, the food that we see now, was actually grown last year. Okay. So the food that we're able to purchase in the stores or at the farmers markets, wherever you shop at, that food was actually produced last year or grown last year. It was grown and harvested last year. Okay. For many people, you all have shared with me right here on the channel. You said that, you know what, in my area, there are no food shortages. There's plenty of food. And I always, my answer to that, the people that have shared that with me, I've always said, you know what, count it as a blessing because it's not that way, in all areas. That's not everyone's story, right? So if you are in an area where there are no food shortages, it seems, count that as a blessing because certainly uh, in other parts of the country and world, people are experiencing that. And if you're not experiencing food shortages, then quite certainly, most definitely, you're experiencing high food prices. So just think of that's something to think about. And in thinking about that, I want you all to realize and think about what does that mean for next year's harvest. Okay, if less food is being grown, if less food is being grown today, then what does that mean for the harvest next year? Think about that, y'all. Will there even be enough to, you know, feed um, people, as normally is done each season? What do you all think about that? Let me know about that. So, I'm going to keep saying the same thing. Make sure that you're, don't just be blindsided by what you see in the stores today. It may look like there's no food shortages in your area, but, um, I would say that who's to say that, next month or down the line, a couple of months, days, maybe week ahead, who's to say that, it will be something completely different. So just keep that in mind. I want to share that with you all to give you something to think about. Um, and you also let me know in the channel. Let me know what you're seeing. Let me know what you're seeing in your particular area. Okay, you all know right here on the channel, I've taken you all with me in the stores, in the grocery stores, and I've given you a look at, what I was seeing in my area. So you all let me know in the chat, are you seeing food shortages in your area? What is it looking like? Share with us. This is a channel. This is a place I created this channel. And I've shared this before, but I created this channel to be a source of news and information. There's so much going on now. And sometimes it's hard. You're like, okay, well, what do they want us to know? It's so this is going on, this is going on. What do they really want us to know? Like what's really going on? What's really going on, right? And so, this channel is also a source of news and information. I hope that you take the information that I share with you and you use it to make a plan to protect and, provide for your family in the current times that we are living in. I'm actually going to raise my computer up. You all give me just a moment here. Let me make some adjustments. You all make sure you like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. So with me going live every week. Hold on, y'all. With me going live every week, I want this to be a place where I can speak to my subscribers and my supporters, and we can share real solutions. I'm just gonna make my setup a little bit higher Okay, I think that is a little bit better. Okay. All right. Again, thank you all so much for your support. Make sure you like this video, share this video, and subscribe. So we're just really getting started. I have several topics. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining, Armana. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in during your break hour. That really means a lot to me. Okay. So I haven't started yet. So you're right on time. Okay. So tonight I have a couple of topics. I'm not going to keep you very long. I still wanted to honor my time with you all, 8 o'clock Thursday night, but my daughter is not feeling her best. And she's actually getting some rest now. I fed her some chicken noodle soup earlier, and she's been drinking plenty of fluids. My husband and I, we've been working together to help her to feel better so that she can, be back to her normal self. But, it's just maybe the change in the weather, um, you know, and everything. So we're, confident that she will be doing much better by tomorrow. So what I'm saying is I didn't want to cancel tonight's episode. I still wanted to come on and speak to you about a few topics that I felt like were very important. So I won't keep you long. We should be by 9 o'clock, if not before. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first topic that I want to cover with you all, I actually have had this story now for several days, actually since August the 2nd. And I have a report right here that I printed. I don't know if you all can really see it, but it's actually from the United Nations. Okay, from the United Nations. And the topic says the American West. Okay, the American West faces water and power shortages due to climate crisis. Okay, that's according to the UN Environment Agency. Now, you all know we've talked here on the channel. We've talked about how a lot of things that are happening right now, things that we're seeing in society, a lot of it is being attributed, or what am I trying to say? Climate crisis has been what a lot of people are saying is the cause. Okay. You all know I have videos where I've been talking about water shortages for several months now, even last year. And I told you all that electric companies, officials were warning of the possibility of power outages. This, in the months to come. And, some people are experiencing power outages now. We even had a power outage in my area, and it lasted for maybe about 15 minutes. But when things like that happen, at least for me, I immediately go into, okay, you know, um, all of the things that we use for preps, like, having a solar power generator, you have that. You think about all the things that you've gathered, to use in case of emergency. And, when the power goes out, you don't know how long that's going to last. So, you have your things in place, and, you have to use them when the time comes. Okay. Armana in the chat shared the drought is no joke. Our leaders, she put leaders in quotation marks here, are discussing this really. They're talking about more restrictions, but yet encourage more immigration to this region. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And, we're going to talk about maybe what possible solutions there are. All right. So according to the United Nations, all right, listen to this article, y'all. This was released August 2nd, 2022. And the caption of the article says that two of the largest reservoirs in the United States are at dangerously low levels due to the climate crisis, and over what they call an overconsumption of water, okay, which could affect water and electricity supply for millions in 6 Western states and Mexico. That's according to the UN Environment Program, who gave that warning on that Tuesday. Okay. So the article says that Lake Mead and Lake Powell are currently at their lowest levels ever. and are at risk of reaching, and I quote, dead pool status, okay? Meaning that the water in the dams would be so low it could no longer flow downstream and power hydroelectric power stations, okay? Um, it calls it a new, very dry normal, all right? So it says the conditions in the American West, which we're seeing around the Colorado River Basin, have been so dry for more than 20 years that we're no longer speaking of a drought, okay? We refer to it as an aridification, a new, very dry normal. Okay, listen to this, y'all. Now, Lake Mead, which is located in Nevada and Arizona, was created in the 1930s, the article says, by the construction of the Hoover Dam on the Colorado River. It is the largest artificial body of water in the U.S. Lake Powell, which is located in Utah and Arizona, is the second largest and was created in the 1960s, the article says, with the construction of the Glen Canyon Dam. Now, this is why, maybe you heard them talk about Lake Mead, maybe you've heard them talk about Lake Powell, but here's the significance in both bodies of water, right? So the article says the reservoirs provide water and electricity to tens of millions of people, y'all, in the states of Nevada, Arizona, California, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, and in Mexico, okay, as well as irrigation water for agriculture. Okay, now here's where climate change or climate crisis, as they call it, here's where that comes into play. Okay, now experts are warning, and even though I'm reporting on this, you all, and even though I have videos on the channel, I do want to encourage you all to research this. These stories are very much in the news, and maybe you can find out some information that I don't know yet, and you can share it right here on the channel. Okay, so experts warn that as the crisis deepens, water cuts will be needed. I'm sorry, experts warn that as the crisis deepens, water cuts will need to be introduced but may not be enough. Okay. While regulating and managing water supply and demand are essential in both the short and long terms, the article says. Climate change, listen to this, y'all. Climate change is at the heart of this issue. Okay. That's according to the UNEP's ecosystems officer in North America. Okay. In the long term, this person quoted, we need to, and I quote, address the root causes of climate change as well as water demands. Okay. So what do you all think about that? What's happening out west with the water cuts and power shortages? Now, I'm going to talk about this in a separate video, but I just now remember this article that I just read from the United Nations. This came out, I don't know if you can see it right here, August the 2nd. Okay, so this was back from August the 2nd. However, I'm seeing reports now. Hold on, let me get myself back into focus, y'all. Okay, hopefully I'm not blurry. Can you all see me? I'm using the stylus from my cell phone. Is this okay, y'all? Y'all let me know, do I look blurry? Okay, let me read some of the comments here. That's scary. Okay, next door to where I work, there's a park and they just finished building 2 Olympic-sized pools. It's open to the public next week. Wow. Okay. So are they really seeming like in your area, do they seem like, water shortages are a real thing? By them opening the pools, of course, people are wanting to get out and swim. But do you think that there's really a concern for water usage? Okay, you said I wasn't blurry. Okay, thank you. Thank you. What do you think? Um, what do you all think about this news? They keep talking about the droughts that are happening in California. They're even now, I didn't know this, but I remember when I first was talking about what was happening in the West with the water shortages, I remember a subscriber shared that someone or some group actually has the ability to turn off the underground, uh, the underground water systems. They have a way to actually drain the water for the water, to disappear. Did you all know anything about that? So that's what one subscriber, I remember, I remember that they commented that. But I keep hearing a lot about climate change. Climate change is the reason for this. We need to address climate change. And in fact, towards the end of tonight's broadcast, I'm going to talk about talk about the recent Inflation Reduction Act that was passed, and some questions I have about, okay, is this a climate change bill, or is it really meant to address inflation reduction? Okay, the name kind of almost sounds misleading a little bit when you look at what it's called and then everything that comes along with it. Okay, so the governor and the mayor, the governor of California, Governor Newsom, and LA Mayor Garcetti keep talking about restrictions for the public and farms, but not for businesses. Okay. Wow. So actually, and I'm going to talk about this in another video, but I saw where the government now, and let me know if you have any insight on this, Armana. The government has actually stepped in and they're issuing cuts, I think water cuts. I'm going to do some more research on that and give you all some more information. Okay. So that was my first topic tonight. I wanted to give you all an update on, I'm just trying to, okay, I thought it was a little bit blurry at first, but I guess not. Okay. All right. So that was my first topic of the night. Thank you all so much. Make sure you like this video, share this video. I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. Let's see what else. Have a couple of topics that I want to talk about tonight. All right, I already talked about the, okay, oh, we need to talk about solutions. So, can we really control the water supply like that? No, we can't. But what we can do is make sure for our family. Okay, all right, Amanda, thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, I really appreciate you taking time out of your break to tune in. Okay, yes, definitely catch the replay. All right. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. All right. We could talk about solutions. So we can't control the global water supply, right? But what you can do for you and your family is make sure that you have water at home, that you have a supply of water. You also, may want to think about ways to filter water if you need to, you know, get water from a source that may not be as clean. You need to have a way to filter water. So again, these we're talking about, solutions, um, things that we can do to help prepare our families and protect our families, even when it seems like the situation is way beyond our control. So again, for the people out west, so for our supporters and subscribers out west, I would encourage you to stay encouraged. Number one, um, you know, get water, as much water as you can, while it's available. You all know right here on the channel, I've talked about before how there have been limits placed on water. So if, this thing keeps going where they're saying, water shortage, we got to do water cuts, who's to say that they're not going to bring back water restrictions where, okay, you may can only buy one case of water, or worst case scenario, they're rationing water. Okay, you all need to check out my video where I talked about food rationing back in, during the World War I, World War II days. I'll post the link towards the end of this video so you can watch it. But worst case scenario, they start rationing water, and you may only, a case of water may have to last you, excuse me, what, 2 weeks, I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe a month, I don't know, who knows what, they may say if they have to ration water. But these are things that I want us to think about, and I'm not trying to scare you or cause fear, but I really want you to think about these are real, possibilities. Okay. We know that we need water. Water is, extremely essential to survival. And, we need to all have water, a water supply at home. Okay. All right. So I want to give you an update on the water cuts, water restrictions out west. I want to talk about um, some of the recalls that have been going on, y'all. Very alarming. Very alarming, very disturbing. Um, there are a lot we know about the different, or maybe you don't know about the different outbreaks that are going on. We've talked about monkeypox, and I just recently read today where there is an E. coli outbreak. Let me see if I can get some information about that. An E. coli outbreak. I just read about this. All right, so this information comes from the Washington Post. Okay, this just came out today, and the title of the article says that the CDC, okay, the Center for Disease Control, reports, and I quote, a fast moving E. coli outbreak in Michigan and Ohio. Okay, so listen to this, y'all. Now, the article says, according to the article, this is from the Washington Post, a fast moving E. coli outbreak in Michigan and Ohio has left 29 people ill and 9 of them hospitalized, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Wednesday. In an urgent public announcement aimed at finding the source of the outbreak, listen to this, y'all. The CDC said that no people had lost their lives as of the time of the announcement. They also said no food source had been identified. So here we are, y'all. There's an E. coli outbreak that is going on, and they're saying they have no idea where it came from. Now, what do y'all think about that? Okay. They said no food source, according to the article, no food source had been identified, the CDC said, meaning the number of people falling sick could increase. So far, 15 people in Michigan and 14 people in Ohio have been infected. Okay, so that's according to the CDC. Now, in a separate news release, the article says Michigan's health department said it had received 98 reports of E. coli cases this month, up from 20 in August last year. Okay. The chief medical executive at the department said the significant jump in cases is alarming, and the Ohio Department of Health did not immediately reply to a request for comment. Okay, so I'm going to be following up on this story. Again, here we are with something else that has, just come out of the blue. And according to the CDC, they have no idea where it came from. Now, I've said this before right here on the channel, y'all. By now, if you all are not asking questions and just wondering, okay, like what's going on? Where's all this coming from? I don't know what to tell you. It just seems like, where are all these mysterious, um, diseases and illnesses and things like that? Where's all this coming from? Okay. While I'm on this topic, I also want to mention the Capri Sun recall. Okay. How many of you all have, maybe you purchased Capri Sun? Maybe you have children, kids, uh, loved ones. Capri Sun is pretty popular, right? So I want to, maybe you have family member, friends, loved ones that, they love Capri Sun. So I just want to share this with you all. All right. So this information comes from CBS News. All right. CBS News reported that over 5,700 cases, that's a lot of cases, y'all, of Capri Sun. How many pouches of Capri Sun are usually in a case? Maybe 6, 8, something like that. So you multiply that times 5,700. That's a lot of Capri Sun, right? So according to CBS News, over 5,700 cases of Capri Sun juice pouches are recalled. Now, when I saw this, y'all, I said, wait a minute. I can't believe this. Listen to this, y'all. According to CBS News, over 5,700 cases of Capri Sun juice pouches are recalled due to possible cleaning solution contamination. Cleaning solution contamination, y'all. What in the world? How did that happen? Now, I'm okay. So listen to what I'm saying. I'm definitely not making an excuse, right? So, with all of how did that happen, y'all? I'm gonna read the headline again. Some of y'all didn't even hear me. According to CBS News, y'all, over 5,700 cases of Capri Sun juice pouches are recalled due to possible cleaning solution contamination. So what I was gonna say is, we're living in a time where, um, they're saying that, there's worker shortages. They can't, there are positions that need to be filled. They can't get people to um, fill the positions. The ones who are there working, they may be tired. So I'm not making an excuse, but could this be the reason why something like this happened? That they don't have as many people there working, so the checks and balances are not as tight as they usually are. I cannot understand. I can't even begin to understand how cleaning solution got mixed in with the Capri Sun juice pouches. Let me give y'all the information, okay? All right, so according to CBS News, more than 5,700 cases of Capri Suns wild cherry flavored juice pouches are being voluntarily recalled due to possible contamination with cleaning solution. That's according to Kraft Heinz, who made the announcement on Monday. Okay, they here's a quote from Kraft Heinz, who said, "Diluted cleaning solution, which is used on food processing equipment, was inadvertently introduced into a production line at one of our factories." That's what Kraft Heinz said in a statement, adding that only specific wild cherry flavored Capri Sun products sold in the United States were affected. A spokesperson for the brand's parent company, Capri Sun AG, told CBS News, and I quote, "There is no risk of serious health issue." Now, do y'all believe that? I don't believe that for 1 minute, y'all. Cleaning solution, first of all, how did the cleaning? So, are they saying that they were trying to clean something on the production line and in some kind of way it got mixed in with the juice? There's no excuse for that, is it? We're talking about a juice that's loved by a lot of kids, even some adults, right? How can something like that happen? There needs to be accountability, um, and procedures put in place to where something like that can't happen. It's just no excuse for that. Okay, that said, Kraft Heinz said, this is in the article. Kraft Heinz said it discovered the problem after receiving, and I quote, several consumer complaints about the taste. Okay, the affected items, the article said, all have a best when used by date of June 25th, 2023. The manufacturer code on the individual pouches is between 0733-0900, and the manufacturer code on the cartons the pouches are sold in is between 0733-1000, the company said. Okay, customers who purchased items that fit these criteria can return them to the store where they were purchased. All right, so y'all, even though they said wild cherry, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't trust any of it right now. Okay, all right, so y'all be careful. For those of you who purchased Capri Sun, make sure you check the boxes. I'll go back and put maybe the link in the description so you can go and check the codes, and it'll have instructions on what to do. It says you can take it back to the store, but I'll go back after the video and post this link below. Okay, all right, y'all, so we got about 12 more minutes. I do want to get into the top topic of tonight, which is, okay, the Inflation Reduction Bill. Okay, or the what is now, I'm sorry, excuse me, it used to be the Inflation Reduction Bill. Now it is the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed just a few days ago. Okay, so I'm actually going to cover this. I'm going to make it a separate video so I can go more in detail. The way I'm set up right now, I can't share my screen with you, but I just want to talk for a moment. Is this something that we should be excited about, happy about? Is the title misleading? Is this in fact going to reduce inflation? Okay, so let's talk about that. I found this article very interesting. This article was this on Bloomberg? I did get it from Bloomberg, and I want to talk about this article for just a moment. Okay. All right. So this article, I think you all can see it, but I got this article from Bloomberg. Okay, and the title of the article says the Inflation Reduction Act is a climate bill. Just don't call it one. Okay, so what do y'all think about this? Do you agree or disagree with the title? Look at this, y'all. Inflation Reduction Act is a climate bill. Just don't call it one. Okay, so I just wanted to read some points from the article. I thought this was an interesting perspective, and it actually makes me wonder and makes me ask some questions. Okay, now, so in the caption of the article, okay, check this out. It says why the biggest climate legislation in American history is packaged as something else. Okay, have we been lied to, y'all? Let's talk about this for a moment. Okay, anyone, the article says. Now, this is an article um, written by two people from Bloomberg. So this is an opinion article. I said so. The article says anyone will be forgiving. Anyone would be forgiven. I'm sorry for asking why a soon-to-be law called the. Now, of course, the law has passed, but this article I printed on August 15th. So it says anyone would be forgiven for asking why a soon-to-be law called the Inflation Reduction Act is being heralded, okay, as the most significant heralded, and then in parentheses they said and cursed as the most significant U.S. climate legislation ever. All right. The article says yes, the bill is expected to reduce the deficit, and it enables Medicare to negotiate drug prices, which could lower their costs. But shouldn't something with that name, the article says, have more to do with price controls and less with solar panels? Do you all agree or disagree? Okay, I'm trying to make sure the camera goes back into focus. Okay, so if you all see me like maybe hold my hand up or something like that, I'm just trying to get it back in focus. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, all right, y'all. So here's a quote by Angela Bradbury, a professor of public interest communications at the University of Florida's journalism school, who said, it does seem kind of wacky and counterintuitive for the most consequential climate legislation ever to be called the Inflation Reduction Act. Okay, so when I first heard about this act, you all remember when I did the breaking news video and I talked about how the bill had been introduced. You know, I thought, okay, well, surely they're going to put some procedures in place. Maybe they're going to announce that America is going back to manufacturing, more items made in America. Maybe we're going to finally become energy independent. I'm just thinking all of these things are going to be put into place to help control and ease inflation, right? But lo and behold, when it finally came out, and I'm still doing research on it, there's a lot of different things in the act. But lo and behold, it seemed like it had everything to do with other things and hardly anything to do with reducing inflation at all. Okay. According to the professor of public interest communications at the University of Florida's journalism school, for the public, she said, it's probably more confusing than anything. Okay. Am I the only one to look confused about the title of this law? Now, Congress, the article says, once passed bills with simpler and more intuitive names, such as the Clean Air Act. But today's political and media landscape demands that legislation be packaged to steer public debate in a direction the sponsors can better manage. You all agree or disagree with this opinion piece? Okay. In choosing a name, the article says, even a tortured acronym like 2001's U.S. Patriot Act, and then they put in parentheses for, and I quote, uniting and strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism. Politicians try to, and I quote, brand the proposal. And get this, the article says, one concept to be the concept that people associate with legislation. Okay, that's a quote from Bradbury. Now, the article says, since inflation is a pressing worry for many Americans, it's not surprising that the word won out. Okay, Democrats want to persuade voters, the article says, they're working to tame inflation as the midterm elections approach. Okay, so do you all think that this is a way for them to win votes in the midterm elections? Okay, and I'm gonna talk about something that really made me say they're really trying to get votes with this. Okay, but I'll save that towards the end, and I'm probably gonna make that a whole separate video. Okay. Um, Senator Joe Manchin. Okay, maybe you've heard his name in the news. Senator Joe Manchin, a key framer of the IRA, our Inflation Reduction Act, repeatedly told colleagues that inflation needed to be their top priority and that he would accept nothing in the bill that would inflame it. Okay, in a statement announcing the bill, the Democrat from deep red West Virginia, the article said, described it as and I quote, and I quote, paying down our national debt, lowering energy costs, and lowering healthcare costs. And I quote, and didn't use the word climate until well into the fourth paragraph. Okay, listen to this, y'all. I'm going to read this again. Okay. According to this article in Bloomberg, Senator Joe Manchin, a key framer of the IRA, repeatedly told colleagues that inflation needed to be their top priority and that he would accept nothing in the bill that would inflame it. Okay. In a statement announcing the bill, the Democrat from what the article says is deep red West Virginia described it as, and I quote, paying down our national debt. These are the things that he said it would do, y'all. He described it as, and I quote, paying down our national debt, lowering energy costs, and lowering healthcare costs. Okay. And didn't use the word, and I quote, climate until well into the fourth paragraph. Okay. On CNN State of the Union, Manchin touted the legislation as, and I quote, not a green deal, but, and I quote, a red, white, and blue deal. What does that mean, y'all? Is he trying to say that's an American deal? Okay. The article continues by saying the history of failed U.S. climate bills shows an evolution in naming. A major early push, the Climate Stewardship Act of 2003 became the Climate Stewardship and Innovation Act when it was reintroduced 2 years later. By 2009, the bill, sometimes referred to as Waxman-Markey, the American Clean Energy and Security Act, kept, and I quote, climate out of its title. Okay. According to the article in Bloomberg, that change reflected something pollsters know well. Americans support clean energy more than they worry about climate change. Do you all agree or disagree with this information? Okay. The article also says a majority of Americans now wants the government to take more action on climate. Do you think that's true? Okay. But the article says the public still places a higher priority on other issues, especially the economy. Okay. Here's a quote by Leah Stokes, who is a longtime climate advocate and political scientist at the University of California at Santa Barbara, who said, and I quote, focusing on health and jobs is a more powerful rhetorical technique than highlighting climate. Okay, but they may be changing. You agree or disagree with that statement? Okay. Um, since the IRA's Inflation Reduction Act surprise unveiling on July 27th, analysts have debated how much its contents pertain to inflation. Listen to this, y'all. The IRA, this is a quote by Stokes, who said the IRA speaks to the high energy costs Americans are struggling with. A recent analyst, a recent analysis she co-authored, meaning Stokes co-authored, found that 41% of inflation, the article says, is attributable to fossil fuel prices. Listen to this, y'all, okay? Do you believe this to be true or not? Okay, Aaliyah Hack, Vice President of U.S. Policy and Advocacy at Breakthrough Energy, says the bill is deflationary. The bill is, and I quote, deflationary because it increases our energy supply and makes it easier for consumers to afford their energy bills. Okay, this is what they're saying, y'all. Let's see. So, however, okay, the article says however much it influences voters come November, it's not clear that the name Inflation Reduction Act mattered to the bill's passage. Okay, says Susan Joy Hassall, director of the nonprofit Climate Communication. All right, the IRA want to say investment. The Inflation Reduction Act garnered a similar level of support as its predecessor, the Build Back Better Act. Y'all remember that? Democrats were for it, and Republicans, the article says, were solidly against it. And here's a quote, and that was true with the prior name and didn't change. Okay. All right, y'all. So in closing out the video, okay, I just want to show you. Now, remember I said with this Inflation Reduction Act, it does appear to be more geared towards, the whole climate change agenda. I don't know everything that's in this act. I'm going to do research, but a lot of times, I don't know if you've ever looked at bills and acts, as they become law, but there's several, sometimes thousands of pages long. Um, but I do know that a lot of it has to do or appears to, have something to do, some things to do with climate change. But then also, after I saw a similar headline, a headline that I'm going to show you all, and I'm going to actually talk about it in another video. But, it had me wondering, are they really, just trying to get votes for the next election? I want y'all to look at this article really quickly, and I'm going to end with this, okay? Whitehouse.gov. You all know that I've referred to whitehouse.gov several times. I want you to look at a statement that they posted. I'm just going to read just a few details, but they recently posted a fact sheet. Look at this, y'all. Do y'all see what it says? I couldn't believe this when I read this, y'all. Do y'all see what it says? Fact sheet. How the Inflation Reduction Act helps Black communities. What is that about, y'all? So, I'm just going to read a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to actually save it for, I'm just going to do a whole, and I'm trying to get back in focus, y'all. I'm just going to do a whole video where I break this down because I want to be able to share. I want to be able to share the screen with you and tell you about this. Okay. But our leaders put out a statement on August 16th. It was a fact sheet explaining how the Inflation Reduction Act helps Black communities. All right, just listen. I'm gonna just read a little bit, y'all, and then we'll, close out here. Thank you all so much for staying with me almost an hour now. Okay, so according to this fact sheet, how the Inflation Reduction Act helps Black communities, that was released August 16th, 2022, on whitehouse.gov. The statement says, by signing the Inflation Reduction Act, President Biden is delivering on his promise to build an economy that works for working families, including Black families. Well, I wonder why he singled out Black communities, y'all. Is he trying to convince us that, hey, I don't know, remember us in the elections? I don't know. It's just weird, right? So he said, the statement says, by signing the Inflation Reduction Act, President Biden is delivering on his promise to build an economy that works for working families, including Black families. Okay, the Inflation Reduction Act lowers prescription drug costs. What does that have to do with inflation? Healthcare costs and energy costs. The statement says it's the most aggressive action we have taken to confront the climate crisis. It'll lower the deficit, the article says, and ask the super wealthy, listen to this, y'all, the super wealthy and corporations to pay their fair share. And no one, the article says, or the statement says, and no one making under $400,000 per year will pay a penny more in taxes. President Biden and congressional Democrats beat back the special interest, the article says, or the statement says, to pass this historic legislation that lowers costs. Listen to this, y'all. They're saying it lowers costs for Black Americans and their families, advances environmental justice while building a cleaner future, and grows the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. So pretty much the article is saying that it's going to lower healthcare costs. I'm just reading some of the highlights. This is going to lower health insurance premiums, expand coverage, combat climate change, lower energy costs, make home efficiency upgrades more affordable. It's going to create economic opportunities and jobs, protect public health. What else? It's going to strengthen resilience to climate change, lower costs for small businesses, make the tax code fairer. All of these things, right? All of these things that, they're alleging are supposed to help the Black community, right? No, at the time of the article, now, this was the first statement, one of the first statements that came out. I don't know if they have, updated it, but why talk about how it's going to help Black communities? I just thought, that was, kind of, why do you all think he singled out Black communities? As if, he has to convince us or, try to, I don't know, it just seems crazy. What do you all think about that? Again, it's right here. This is not something I made up. Look at this, y'all. Fact sheet. How the Inflation Reduction Act helps Black communities. Okay, we're like I said, I'm gonna break this down in a separate video. I want to be able to just trying to bring myself back into focus. I want to be able to share my screen when I talk about it. But how does he even know that this is what is really needed? That this is a priority of the Black community? That's my question. What about reparations? That's my real question. What about reparations? We're still waiting on reparations. They want to talk about economic development, economic empowerment, but where are the reparations that would really make an impact on the community, on the Black community? And there have been leaders, from my understanding, that have tried to meet with him and speak to our current administration about reparations, but they didn't want to hear that. They weren't trying to hear that. But yet in the Black community, they want to continue to promote the jab. They want to say that the Black community is more at risk of all these different mysterious illnesses and diseases that are, whether being created, but they're just coming up out of the blue. Did y'all see where they found polio in the New York City wastewater? Why is it that, in so many communities, in so many Black communities across the United States, why is it that, think about this, and this is what I try to get people to understand. I've asked this question. I don't know if you have thought about this, but when you think about this, y'all, they want to make it seem like they care so much about Black communities, and yes, we're helping you. Why is it that, and I want you to think about this, okay? Why is it that, the Black communities seem like are the focus and the targets for, these different vaccine rollouts? Oh, you all need to get it first. It seems like Black community needs to get it first, but we can be first when it comes to that, but we can't be first when it comes to economic empowerment. um we can't be first when it comes to, okay, let's talk about reparations. Think about all that. They're so concerned about our health, but not our financial health, our financial well-being. Think about that. How much do they really care? Do you really think that the Inflation Reduction Act is meant to help Black communities, when even before this Inflation Reduction Act, there's so many things that our people in Black communities need? Why does it have to take the Inflation Reduction Act to all of a sudden now help Black communities? Think about that. Something to think about, right? But I'm gonna end with that, y'all. I hope that people will realize that you know sometimes things are introduced and brought out that are not really that don't really have our best interest in mind at all. And I wish that my people in Black communities, um, who were often the target of campaigns. And yes, remember when President Biden said, "If you don't vote for me, you're not Black." Y'all remember? Y'all don't remember that? I took offense to that. I don't know if you did or not, but I took offense to that because it's like, what do you mean if I don't vote for you, I'm not Black? And since he's been in office, what has he really done for the Black community? He and all his people surely campaigned to get your vote, but yet he still puts you last. So think about that. And I'm gonna come back with another video, and I'm going to just really break down this Inflation Reduction Act. And I want to get your thoughts and input on that. But I want to say thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all so much. Please make sure that you are building up your emergency food supply. You all know I have my website, preparewithandrea.com. A couple of things that I recently ordered for myself and my family. These are things that you need to think about. Now, I'll post in the I'll post a video here. I'll put it maybe in the description. Excuse me, and I'll also put it. I put a you'll see it on the screen. It'll come up. A little box will come up. You can click the video. But I showed you how to order products from my website. I'll put the website here. All right, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna type it in the chat. Hold on, I'm gonna type it in the chat here. Okay. So you can actually go on my website and order products, but I want to show you all a few things that I just recently got for preps. I'm typing it in the chat now. All right, so you can click the link at preparewithandrea.com. As a matter of fact, let me. All right, so if you click the link, it'll take you to the site. And if for some reason the link doesn't work, because sometimes for whatever reason, the links don't always work. Trying to just get back in focus here. Sometimes the links don't always work, so you can just simply type in preparewithandrea.com and it'll take you to the site. But a couple of things that I just recently got. Actually, I got this maybe a few weeks ago, but I added it to my preps. Sugar. Okay, so sugar. This is granulated white sugar. Okay, this comes in the bulk number 10 can. Okay, so granulated white sugar. You can see it has up to a 30-year shelf life. Okay, so it's in a pretty heavy duty can. Okay, it comes with a white lid, but if you take the lid off, okay, it's just like one big giant can. Okay, So, sugar is something that you could barter. Okay. If we ever get in a situation where, you may have to barter. Y'all ever heard the saying, borrowing sugar from a neighbor? Well, hey, maybe that's where that comes from. But, having sugar on hand to, bake with, there are a lot of different uses for sugar. But this is also on my site, and it's pretty affordable. Okay. We don't know. There may come a time where there's a sugar shortage. Okay. And by you having sugar, you will have what you need. Sugar shortage, of course, that will make prices higher. Okay. So this is also available on my site, preparewithandrea.com. If you have a question and you want to order more products, you can send me an email to, let me type that in the chat for questions. About placing an order, you can email me at andreaspeakstv@gmail.com. Okay. But if you go on my site, I wish I could show you. I don't have it on I'm not able to share my screen. But if you go on my website under I think it's on the long term, it's either on the long term or short term emergency food supply. Look for the heading that says the bulk number 10 cans, and you'll see granulated sugar. Okay. So I have sugar. Something else that I have. Give me just a minute, y'all. The cans are kind of heavy, so I'm having to reach over and pick it up. Now, this is just one source. Of course, you can go to your local store and get sugar. You can get flour, but of course, in order to store sugar or store flour long term, you have to package it a certain way. You can find, you can do your research and find out the different ways. But I ordered some flour. Okay, so this is all-purpose white flour. Okay, again, it's in the same type of big can. Okay, it's already packaged. I don't have to do anything to it. I don't have to put it in the freezer to freeze it to kill, any pest eggs or anything like that, worm eggs. I don't have to package it in a brown paper bag, put it in a Mylar bag. I don't have to use the what do you call it, where the little machine where you can put the plastic over it and it sucks the air out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't have to do that. Okay, it's already ready. So this is all-purpose white flour, emergency food storage. You all know everything that's going on. They've been talking about wheat shortages, right? So less wheat is being produced this time next year. Who knows? You may not be able to find wheat, or if you are, it may be more and more expensive. So at the time of this video, I think the last price I checked for this, they did have a special sale. It was $8.95. Okay, comes in a big can. Okay, and even as I, do it like this, I can feel, it moving. Okay, flour. Okay, lots you can make with flour. Okay, so I would encourage you to also add this to your food supply. If you're like me, I've been super busy. School is back in, so that's why another reason why you haven't seen me live as much. Having to make sure my daughter gets adjusted well to school and everything. And so I just have not had time to can. Okay, and the products, let me point this out. They are made in the USA. Okay, so this is not something that, from my knowledge, is coming from another country. It's made in the USA. Okay, so all-purpose flour, you can check that out. That's on my website as well. Or you can email me about questions that you have about ordering. And also on my website, you all know I already have the buckets for food storage. But something else I recently picked up. Let's see. This is the beans trio with rice. Okay, so you have different variety of beans. and also some white rice. Okay. All right. All of this comes in handy during emergency. Now, again, this is not something that I'm going to break out and prepare Sunday dinner with. This is for use in case of emergency. Okay. Or in case, it's not, we can't find it in the stores. If people panic and they go out and buy, you all know things have been flying off the shelves. Okay. Remember back when the pandemic first happened, you couldn't find bread. A lot of things just disappeared off the shelf. So if you have these items at home in your emergency food supply, you'll have what you need. Okay. So those are some of the things, and I have others, but these were just, some that I had put on the table. But again, go to my website, preparewithandrea.com. You can click on the icon in the top left for my Patriot Supply. I am an affiliate of theirs. So if you do make a purchase, I may earn a small commission. Okay. So I thank you so much for your support. And again, these are not things that I'm just talking about. I'm making purchases, placing orders as well. Okay. Thank you all so much for staying up with me. Those of you all who are catching the replay, I appreciate you all. Please leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the topics that I covered in tonight's video. And I want to say, stay encouraged. Keep preparing every day. That's another reason why you haven't seen me live as much, because these are the times where we all need to be working, y'all. We need to be working on getting the things that we need and making sure that we have enough emergency food supply. Excuse me. Excuse me. Making sure that we have enough emergency food supply and survival needs to protect and provide for our families. Okay, the people that are in our household, that's the first priority. We can't, say that, hey, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to go eat with a family member or friend, or I know they got it, so I ain't got to be worried. No, the priority for everyone is going to be their household. Okay. So there may or may not be enough for you and your family. That's why we all need to be doing what we, can to prepare for our household. Okay. Y'all take care. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I do plan on going live right here on the channel. So if you would like to catch me live, please make sure you meet me here next Thursday, same time, same place, unless I need to change the time for whatever reason. I may have something else that I previously planned, or something may come up. I will let you know right here on the channel. I'll make a video, or I'll post it on my Instagram page. So if you are on Instagram, make sure you follow me at Andrea Speaks TV. Again, you can follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate each and every one of you all for your emails, your comments, your views. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The channel is growing and I want it to continue to grow. So I would like to ask for your support in sharing the channel with your family members and friends, anyone that you know that needs to know what's going on and solutions. Okay. Thank you all so much. Take care. And I'll see you all. So even though I'm going to be live every Thursday, I will be uploading videos to the channel in between. So please make sure that you check the channel daily for uploads. Okay. Thank y'all so much. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Good night, y'all.